there is Laura. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. And
Great.
look at
I'm going
all
to make
that.
an adjustment.
Yeah, you can make any adjustment.
Okay.
Somehow your light is warmer than, than mine.
What?
It's that Mexican light.
Oh, the light.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have beautiful light here.
It, is it, is it natural?
Yes, natural light. Always. It's best.
Uh, well, we're waiting for a couple more people to join us, and then we will start at 5.
Okay.
What time is it there?
It's 11 a.m. We are Mexico City time.
Oh, very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I see more people joining us, so I will start,
Okay.
and people will join us as we continue the conversation. Hello,
Great.
and welcome to Interiors Academy. I'm Emilio Pimentel-Reid. Today's guest is Laura Kirar, founder and creative director of Laura Kirar Design. She's an internationally renowned interior product designer. Under her direction, the studio creates elegant interiors, home and lifestyle products with a timeless sensibility, reflecting her deep respect for craft, history, and authenticity. Projects range from high-end residences to award-winning commercial interiors, restaurants, showrooms, and hotels, in addition to strong licensing partnerships with the design industry's most sought-after companies. She is joining us from her own hospitality retail project, Meson Hidalgo, a completely shoppable guest house boutique opened in San Miguel de Allende in 2019. Guest suites function both as showrooms for the LK curated pieces and as a getaway for her lucky clients and guests. Welcome, welcome, Laura. I am so happy to speak with you and all the way in Mexico. How wonderful.
Thank you, Emilio. I'm really, really glad to see you again.
Let's start at the beginning. I want to explain to the audience. Laura is a super talented designer and entrepreneur, and I'm sure you would all love to know how she started as a.
Well, I of course didn't get into design thinking that I would be a brand. I'm celebrating just a little over 20 years of being in business. And so things looked really different back in 1999. And when I started my company, I started it as a company called True Design. And the idea was that it would be a think tank, and I would act as the creative director, and I would was really meant to be a collaborative effort of talents. And concurrent to starting the interior design practice, I started my licensing practice, and things with the licensing really started to take off, I would say like around 2005, and all of that product was marketed and advertised under my name, the Laura Kirar name. And it was at that point that it just really made sense for us to make that shift to brand, and that's how Laura Kirar Design came to be, and so we've been Laura Kirar Design and a brand ever since then.
And tell us about some of the companies that you collaborate with. Quite a range.
Yeah. So at some point, I had 14 concurrent licenses active. Some of the most important and biggest companies that I've worked with have been the Kohler Callista Company, Baker Interiors Group, McGuire, Arteriors Home, Samuel and Sons, Trimmings, Passementerie. So the list goes on and on.
So all the ingredients of the home you have.
Yes, everything for the home. Yes. Anything they'll let me design, I'll design.
Good, good. That's good, good to get out there in case there's a
Yeah.
category that's not yet covered. And talking about things that are new and different. What tell us about Meson Hidalgo and the concept behind it?
Well, so Meson Hidalgo, I mean, I think it was an idea, a seed that was planted in my head a very long time ago. Because as somebody who created not only spaces but products to go in a space, I think I had always thought about my work as an environment, and I always imagined creating like a 360-degree experience for people, something that would touch upon all the senses and really celebrate all of the things that I loved, and not necessarily just my own designs, but things that I curated and other brands and collections that I really respect and love. So really, truly by a series of mishaps, I found the building that Meson Hidalgo lives in, and immediately joined forces with three other women directed brands, owned brands, Armor Jewelry, Carla Fernandez Fashion, and She Knew Perfumes. They're all women who create their work here in Mexico. Mm-hmm. And so alongside my brand, we're all very, very strong here. And then Meson Hidalgo has 3 guest suites, and which was so exciting for me because I got to have fun with that. And I look at those like showrooms that you can stay in, and you can buy anything you like in them. So in each room, we call them the sisters. Each room, each sister is different. So it was just so much fun to decorate them and give them different personalities. And I think there's something very, very solidly Mexican about the design, but also very contemporary as well. It's very fresh.
Why was it important for you to have women designers and creatives as your partners?
I think that it was important for me because all of us work with small artisanal shops, mm-hmm. or indigenous communities on some level. I don't know, maybe I wasn't in my purview to say like, oh, it has to be women, but that those brands and those people were so amazing to me. And it was just sort of like, who would you want? And they were top of the list. So.
And the sense of very important to you when you were creating the mix of products that you were selling.
Yeah. I mean, that's also part of it as well, is that, Carla squarely represents fashion in the building. Brianna Armour squarely represents jewelry. I'm wearing some of her pieces. And She Knew Perfumes is a relatively new brand, but they're just really incredible. So please find them and test those scents. They're incredible. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think I wanted to create an environment full of things that I would own, mm-hmm. So it's, for me, it's really a personal curation.
And then going back to you and all the things that you design, what is your process when creating a room or a product? Where does the inspiration start? How does it work?
Well, I think the process is pretty much the same across the board, whether I'm creating an environment or I'm creating a collection or a piece of furniture. I travel a lot, or at least I used to. And I'm a collector of objects. I used to have my camera with me always. Now I have my phone with me always. And I probably have 40,000 photos sitting in my image bank. But I'm constantly generating ideas. And then when it comes time, to sit down and produce something, it's really easy for me to go through that, call out what's important to me, and that whatever it is becomes the nucleus. And it can be something that I picked up at La Lagunilla in Mexico City, or, on a trip to Asia or wherever. That's kind of the jumping off point. And it starts with sketching. Everybody who works in my studio has the ability to communicate with their hands. And after we sort of create a lot, very much off the cuff and very organically, it goes to technicals. And that's for product. That's the same for interior architecture as well. So we really do a lot of idea generation, and then it goes to technicals. And in the case of, something like the project for Meson Hidalgo, gosh, there were so many vision boards for each one of the guest rooms. And right now I'm sitting in my retail space that I share with Armor Jewelry. And the mural behind me, there were so many ideas. And then sort of one morning I kind of woke up with this oh, I know what it's supposed to be. And I sketched it. And that's how we started to work with that painter. So, I think idea generation is really where it starts, and then it gets very nitty gritty and very technical. And, and I think we deliver a project the way people do, with deadlines and budgets and all of that.
I like how everybody in your studio can draw. And that seems to make the creative process very personal, as intimate, at least at the beginning, before you do all the technical. And
immediate too.
And immediate, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You capture that. And moving on to our home, how do you see our homes changing and evolving? Because we have 40,000 pictures of inspiration, and then some of them will be more relevant than others. The way we live change. Where do you see our homes go? And city spaces as well, because you can offer that.
Yeah, well, I think it goes without saying that we are living in a very interesting time right now. We have had many challenges, and we'll continue to have them. So we have a lot to think about, and we've had some of us 3-4 months to think about that, and to be in our homes and look around to see what works for us and what doesn't work for us. And this, as you said, too, extends to hospitality. So I think in the home, work in the home, I think a lot of people were doing it already, but I think that is going to be more and more refined. And I think that residential designers will start to have more of those in-depth conversations with their clients. And we're all going to have to get smarter about, about how everything runs and how everything works. And, I think in the future, it won't just be, oh, I need a writing desk in the corner. No, you really need to have access to the printer and, maybe setting up your own Instagram Live area. This is the way that we have become more and more comfortable communicating. And I think for hospitality, we are such a small and intimate environment here at Meson Hidalgo, which I think is really to our benefit. I mean, personally, I wouldn't really want to go to a huge hotel right now. And so a place like this feels very appealing to me because, you can have someone come and leave, a basket of breakfast at your door and go, and, you're only one of 3 guests, and there's lots of fresh air and lots of space around you. And I think that kind of creating those spaces in a hospitality environment is really what those designers and architects are going to be charged with. It's like, how do we give the person the experience of a lot of air and space around them, and yet have it be intimate and personal and feel within a human scale. So it's kind of like asking for 2 opposite ends and figuring that out as the job.
You have also created a very interesting retail experience, because you may not want to be visiting large stores at the moment, but you can stay in your room and shop the room. And
Yeah.
so I think as hospitality evolves, perhaps we're going to be doing more in our rooms than just sleep and eat, to be able to enjoy the space, take it home, take it home with us. And thinking about those changes, what do you think the industry should be doing, broader picture, to adjust to where we're going next? Whether it's changes in production, that how we make things, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I think that's a really interesting question that everyone should be asking themselves right now, whether they're a designer or any other kind of business person. I think, because the design is my industry, I think that we have both an opportunity and a responsibility right now to look closely at where our dollars are going.
Mm-hmm.
And we can make the decision to purchase things that maybe support minority-owned businesses, to support indigenous communities that create things that maybe didn't have a platform before. We definitely can make the decision to choose products that are responsibly made and don't pollute the environment. I mean, it's like, let's take the 3-4 months that we've had to be conscious and pay it forward. Let's really be conscious about how we spend our money and our clients' money. Because I don't think the design will suffer. I think the design will thrive within probably within a more socially conscious perspective.
And talking about that social consciousness, why is Mexico important to you as a place to create and grow?
Mm-hmm. Well, my history with Mexico really goes back to me being in my 20s and going to the Yucatan Peninsula to do yoga, and I sort of quickly fell in love with the Maya culture and that part of Mexico. And fast forward many, many years after that, I started working with artisans around Mexico in 6 different Mexican states, in fibers, in copper, in ceramics, wovens. So everywhere from the Yucatan to Oaxaca to Michoacan, all over. And Mexico's just been really magical to me. I think what is attractive about it is the dichotomy of the traditional, sort of ancient aspects that it has to offer, and then this incredible ingenuity, and they're just absolutely cutting edge designers, architects, filmmakers, musicians coming out of Mexico. And if you don't know that, you're not paying attention. So this is a really exciting country for the present and for the past. And I really think that the greatest resource that this country has is its people and its culture. So that for me has really inspired me very much over the last 10 years, and I'm sure it will continue to do so.
Well, I think it's fascinating that there is a very modern country where people are still able to make things and where craft still exists. So it's the perfect for someone like you, who's used to working in an international environment, to come and connect with the creative there.
I think that that's something that that you'll find in many places around the world. And my project, my personal initiative to come here and work with artisans like that really came out of traveling the world and seeing the depth of craft and seeing some of those techniques that have been passed down through generations really being lost. So I wanted to come here and work with people and utilize those traditional techniques and create modern design and hopefully create another stream of revenue, another market. And, while I was doing that, other people were having that idea as well. And I think that there's, that continues to grow, that's really thriving. Carla Fernandez, she does that. She works with over 40 different communities around the country. So, it's truly exciting. And I think again, it goes back to responsibility. Like, we have the responsibility to keep those techniques alive and keep that growing.
And it's a way to give back to society on a global scale as well. And Laura, to end our conversation, we've discussed the importance of craft, and could you tell me what you think design is worth? Because we are going to be more careful with how we spend money and more specific. And I think that, why is design worth it?
Well, I always think about this quote by Joseph Hoffman, who said, "I would rather make one thing in 10 days than 10 things in one." And I feel like I'm of an age now where I believe in less is more, which does not to mean minimalism. It just means that I would rather choose quality over quantity. And I think good design is important because we should be surrounded by things that are meaningful to us, that are of good quality and of good value, and hopefully both of those together. And I think I'm just really always in the pursuit of timelessness, and good design is always a merit of that.
Well said. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you so much, Laura, for joining me today. That has been fascinating. And I would like to invite viewers to go to Meson Hidalgo's Instagram feed and check out as well as Laura Kirar's own feed. Thank you so much, Laura, and you have a good rest of the day.
You too, my pleasure, and thanks to everyone at Interiors Academy. It was great to talk with you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.